Welcome back. Here's the Kovacs report. We're going to take a look at a book I normally wouldn't review, but there's something juicy in here about Peter Parker and Mary Jane, which you've probably already heard of. So that's why I'm reading it, just to get the full picture. So before that happens, we are going to go through this book page by page. There will be spoilers. Please read the book first if you don't want it spoilt. Like the video if you like the video, and of course hit subscribe too. That would really help me grow the channel. And 80% of you watch the videos but don't subscribe, so please do take a moment to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, back to All-New Venom. So there's Al Ewing on writing duties and Carlos Gómez on the art. So again, I am out of the loop on this book. I have not read issues 2 to 7. I couldn't get into this book. Main reason is Mary Jane as Venom is just as ridiculous, or even more ridiculous as her being Jackpot. So Mary Jane's character has been pretty much destroyed over the last few years, especially in Zeb Wells' run. They've taken her from being a fully rounded character to something that's just a plot device, or something to shock, or something to, intentionally antagonize fans. And the fan base is now a bit divided about her future. But one thing is certain, they do not want her with Paul, her current relationship guy. But I'm quite surprised at how many people don't want her to get back with Peter too. And that's all down to the writers. They've absolutely destroyed this character, and I have no reason why. Anyway, that's what you need to know before we start. So again, I don't know what's happened before. They're in some kind of lab. Doc Ock is there. He's got his goons with him. There's symbiotes in canisters being experimented on probably, and it looks like Venom's about to meet her end, which is Mary Jane. Remember, Venom is Mary Jane. So he goes to stab her with one of his tentacles, but of course Venom at the last second tears off the attachment, and it sends these overwhelming nerve pains through Otto and disables him for a short while. Okay, so what happens next? So she throws this this attachment, freeing one of the symbiotes. Happens to be Sleeper. Now Sleeper decides to bond with Rick Jones. Yes, Rick Jones, the perpetual sidekick, never really the hero. And off he trots with these special, I don't know, canisters of poisons and gases and all sorts of things, which he uses against the goons. It induces some kind of nightmare into Otto Octavius, because it's one of those psychotropic chemicals, let's call it. So it goes through the skin rather than through breathing. Anyway, he freaks out a bit because he has this terrible little moment looking at Spider-Man tearing off his mask to reveal a skull. And again, it's just so unimportant to the story. And we jump back to Sleeper and Venom here. Now, they're going to go free the rest of the guys. Now, I also understand that this cat is Sleeper too, I think. Okay, but because everyone needs a symbiote. So I did a little look up here. And the reason why it's a cat is for some particular reason. It used to be a wolf, and Dylan Brock, Eddie's son, didn't like the wolf, so it went into a sort of more amicable looking shape. Nothing to do with merchandising and Funko Pops. And here we have it. They are trapped, and there's a Toxin on the floor, looking very worse for wear. So of course they break in to free them. Just before they can, Anti-Venom. Yes, Flash Thompson turns up, but he's not there to stop them. He's there to help them, and he absorbs all of his anti-venom inside him because he doesn't want to be seen to be the person breaking them out, because it could cause him other problems. So Toxin temporarily bonds with him, and we get this new pointless costume. So they charge off. Of course, another battle ensues. There's lots of really cheesy dialogue. I mean, this is so talky, these fight scenes. But there's smashes, punches, and electronic whips, and God knows what else. But again, it's loads of fighting, and it just gets a bit boring, really. I mean, it really does. Then we get to this point where Venom's trapped. Of course, in the last second, Venom comes out of sort of Mary Jane and into his throat, and it's going to kill him. But they're like, hey, this isn't you. It's not Venom, and it's not Mary Jane. This is not the kind of, symbiote or person that you are. Don't do it. It's like, yeah, you're right. Let's go, guys. He's just going to be on the floor puking up for a little bit. Let's just go. Let's just walk out calmly. End of the story. I mean, like, really? So this whole escape thing just ends with them walking off into the sunset. Anyway, here's the juicy bit. So Mary Jane comes home to Paul, the very much heated Paul, and she's had this moment of clarity where she feels, and this is it, the metaphor here is really bad. She says that, all my life I've run away, and that's not true at all. Mary Jane, from what I know, has always stood by, always done the right thing. Apparently she ran away. She didn't help her sister when she had the chance. She thought staying put was the right thing to do with her and Paul, even though it doesn't feel right. Although now even that feels like she's just running on the spot. and it's time to do something about it. And then Paul, the ever-loving Paul, the always nice Paul, you know, because they've made him this way so you can't hate him, is like, you know what? Let me talk first. I'm the one that needs to apologize to you. I should have supported you. I should have done everything I'm supposed to do as a loving boyfriend. Anyway, what have you got to say to me, Mary Jane? She's like, hey, you know what? Thanks for telling me all that. But guess what? I'm breaking up with you. So that's it. I mean, this issue really for me just was really hard to get through. The fight scenes were pretty much underwhelming, let's be honest. The dialogue as well was just a little bit sort of like, who is this aimed at? Is it aimed at children? You know, like young children? This doesn't feel like a sort of teen book to me. Well, anyway. The whole point of it is this, is that Mary Jane is finally breaking up with Paul. Now, like I've said, I thought everyone would rejoice at this. And they are rejoicing that that union is being broken. But judging by the comments on my previous video about this, people are divided about Mary Jane. Some of them saying, you know what, she's dead to me. They don't want her to get back with Peter. You know, but nobody can disagree that they don't want her. We don't want her with Paul. Because Paul is just a character that needs to be written out of this entire universe because he's just so uninteresting and purely a hang-up from Zeb Wells' destruction of Amazing Spider-Man. But anyway, that was the whole point. So out of this whole book, we get something that can change the book that, in my eyes, is more important, and that's The Amazing Spider-Man, which is also out this week, which I'll also be reviewing because this has reverberations in that. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I'm sure I'm going to stoke up some fire from people out there, but those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. Don't forget to like and subscribe.